Now let's take a look at how our code review process is broken down. So first, our primary objective is simple: to evaluate the quality, security, and performance of your code. We make sure your software not only works, but it's also secure and optimized for performance. So the process is structured into several phases. We begin with the initial setup and client coordination. That's where we align your team and understand your project context. Then we move to the preparation and environment setup, ensuring everything is ready for review. Next, we run automatic checks to catch standard issues quickly, followed by manual review, where our expert dive deeper into code structure, design, and functionality. A security assessment ensures your code is protected from vulnerabilities. Finally, we wrap everything up with feedback and in a report where we present you our findings. So what you get is a detailed assessment report, easy to understand scorecard, and actionable recommendations to improve your code quality and security. This ensures your project is not only functional, but built to last.
And
So
Alex, I know you're going to cover this in the presentation, but everybody always asks, wait a minute, can you just have AI do a full code review? Or what can AI be? When can it be used? When it can't? What needs to be manual? And I know you're going to be covering this here, and that's the question I know I always get when I'm talking with clients about it.
yeah, I mean, I think there's reasonable concerns. There's a lot of AI tools out there, but you have to be mindful what the terms and conditions are. Will your code end up out there training model data? So you have to be very careful on how you utilize AI tools.
Awesome. All right, keep diving in on how we go about this process with Sonata.
Good. All right. So the first phase of our process is the initial coordination and setup. It all starts with the client coordination. During this step, we work together to define the scope of the assessment, what we'll be reviewing, any inclusions or exclusions, and agree on timelines and deliverables to ensure we are aligned to on expectations. Now, we before moving forward, we handle the necessary legal agreements like NDAs, SOW, and we make sure we have proper access authorization. Next is the environment setup phase. We begin by checking out your code. From there, we move into setting up the environment, installing dependencies, configuring the environment variables to replicate your working conditions. Um, of course, if this is part of the scope of the project. Once everything is set, we validate the application, we build and run it, perform various operational tests, just to ensure everything is working as expected. And finally, we confirm everything with the client before diving deeper into the code review, just making sure everything is working as expected before we dive in. All right. So the first thing is we run automated static code analysis, which help us identify issues quickly. So we start with linting. We assess the linting rules already in place for your project. We ensure they follow current best practices, and if needed, um, suggest improvements. If you don't have like linting setup, we can make recommendations and even offer a pull request with the changes. For static analysis, we're on SEMGREP to catch bugs and code smells, and we recommend more tailored tools for your specific tech stack. Um, Dependency management, we generate a list of all your dependencies and scan for vulnerabilities with tools like Sneak or with any tools that you already have on your pipeline but are not fully using. Finally, we run automated tests. This is unit integration and end-to-end tests if they are available. Our focus is to find any critical areas that aren't covered yet, and we'll follow We'll follow up with findings and suggest on how to close these gaps in the next steps. Now we move on to one of my favorite parts, the manual code and security assessment. In the manual code review, we start carefully reading the code, evaluating the structure, readability, adherence to coding standards. We also assess the use of design patterns and dig into the architectural choices doing.
Alex, let me interrupt you for a minute. You said your favorite part is doing a manual code review. Are you sick in the head? What's wrong with you?
No, I mean, I really enjoy it. It's like getting to know someone. Like you see how everything relates together, issues, trends. So yeah, this is.
Man, you know you're a senior engineer when you get excited to do manual code reviews. I tell you.
So we assess the design patterns, dig into the architectural choices to ensure that the technologies used follow best practices for their specific combination and the context in which they are applied. Then we conduct a performance analysis to provide the application and to profile the application and identify any potential bottlenecks that there might be affecting performance. Now, on the security assessment side, we start by analyzing data flow across the application. This involves looking at how data moves between different components like front end and back end and checking for vulnerabilities such as unprotected data or insecure communication. And next, we perform vulnerability scanning using tools like OWASP and Burpsuit. Finally, we conduct a manual security review, inspecting code for common security flaws and verifying that authentication and data protection mechanisms are properly implemented. So this phase gives us a hands-on look at how well the code is structured and secured. Uh, Now let's talk about how we use AI tools during our code reviews. So AI help us understand your code more efficiently. It assists in analyzing your code structure, organization, giving us like a clear view of the architecture. We also use AI to identify key design patterns present in your code, ensuring best practices are followed. Additionally, AI provides detailed insight into specific pieces of code, helping us uncover deeper insights more quickly. However, there are some things we don't use AI for. We don't use AI to modify or update your code. And we also don't use AI to train internal or third party models with your data. We place the highest priority on protecting your data. We ensure that customer data privacy is respected throughout our process. We use services like OpenAI. We make sure data is never used to train external models or shared outside the project scope. To maintain these standards, we continuously review third-party policies to ensure we meet the highest data protection requirements. This is how our code review report breaks down. Each area we analyze is given a score that's up to 100 points. Oh, here we cover all the points that we that have gone through the review. Depending on the project scope, there are some areas that have limited visibility or relevance. So we adjust like the weight of different points based on the specifics of the project. So, and this flexible approach allow us to tailor the review to the specific project while maintaining a comprehensive evaluation. Okay, next slide. So this is a breakdown on how the points are distributed about the different steps of the process. Again, as I mentioned, so depending on the scope, some projects might have better visibility than others on some specific areas.
So, Alec, what's a good score here? Is this like like high school and college where 90 and above is an A, 80 to 90 is a B? Like, what's a good score we've seen here? What
Like,
expectations should people have?
yeah, like realistically, anything above 85 is good. Like, projects move really fast. Um, Most of the time, the focus will be on features. So, yeah, I think like 85 and above is very healthy.